Live in 3, 2, 1, and we're live. 0. Greetings, superior beings, greetings, supreme being. Welcome to Universal Peace Television. So this broadcast is a continuation of the previous broadcast. The previous broadcast was cut off. I think they did this. So this may be a non-controlled opposition, real resistance for the people guy or man called Jefferson Lee on YouTube. He has 16 likes, 0 dislikes. He also made a previous video that was very good. So let's watch this. This guy may be so good that they crashed my previous broadcast of this. So I'm gonna check out if he's controlled the position and what he has to say. And we're both sort of without a shirt, so that's why I'm not doing the normal intro. And this is more or less a continuation of my previous video, my latest video. I'd have to check, but it has to do with the fake attacks. Millions of people that claim that these attacks are fake, hoax attacks. Some blame it on Zionists, other Jesuits and Freemasons that want to create a Luciferian global government. Others, I mean. But I have to continue, so let's listen to what he has to say, and then I can give you my thoughts about this video.
Lee here, the man from the deep south. You know, I'm getting a little tired of being right all the time when it pertains to these things, and the reason why I say that I'm tired of it is because I don't want to be right. Okay? It sucks being able to accurately predict what the hell the deep state is doing and how these things go down. So before you get carried away and ask, you know, what the hell do I mean by that, if you click on the description of this video, you're going to see 3 news articles. All 3 things pertain to stuff that we discussed throughout the entire week. Okay, so one of them is going to be an article by Gateway Pundit, which describes the past of the Unite the Right protester, rather Unite the Right organizer, Jason Kessler. Turns out Mr. Kessler was a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat that only recently claims to have been red-pilled and become a alt-righter. Now, I understand that anybody could change their belief system on any given day, right? It's totally possible to have some type of epiphany and change who you are, no matter how nefarious the belief system you're switching over to might be. But given the deep state's history for staging false flags, for bringing in operatives at all types of events, whether it be, you know, co-opting the Tea Party, or in the past we've seen this with the Black Panthers, the Nation of Islam, is it that far-fetched to think that Mr. Kessler might be some type of infiltrator or agent provocateur? I certainly don't think so. I by no means think that this is a slam dunk case. It's certainly possible that he's not, but it certainly is likely. We've seen this happen in the past, and it's interesting to hear that they actually got in touch with one of his ex-girlfriends who said that he dumped her for not being liberal enough. Does that really sound like someone who's going to organize a Unite the Right protest? I'm not sure that it does. I want you guys to think about that. The second thing regarding Charlottesville is the Zero Hedge article discussing how a call for crisis actors went out in the Charlotte, North Carolina area 1 week before the Unite the Right protest. For anyone who doesn't know, a crisis actor is someone who is paid to come in and act out a crisis situation. For anyone who doesn't know, a crisis actor is someone who is paid to come in and act out a crisis situation. Okay? The advertisement on Craigslist actually specified that these crisis actors be ready to act out a peaceful protest. Told you so, now didn't I? It's not good to be right about these things, though. Now, some of you might say that's a coincidence. I would say that where there's smoke, there's fire, and I don't believe in coincidences. That much is for sure. Okay? So, and by the way, who the hell even knows if the crisis actors were on the Antifa side or on the alt-right side? It doesn't make a difference. The fact of the matter is, people are being paid to be there to put forth an agenda to get a reaction from the people that the deep state wants. That's the way these people work. Okay? That's the second thing. Now, the third thing is in regards to Barcelona. I spoke to you guys the other day about that, and I pretty much told you that you're going to find out that someone new, whether it be the Spanish government or the local cops or whatever, Well, guess what? It comes out that the CIA knew. The Central Intelligence Agency knew, and they contacted the Spanish, and they did nothing. They did nothing. Why did they do nothing? Because somewhere, someone wants these things to happen. They want the fear that comes from the terrorist attack. They want the people to continue to give up their rights, okay? And who the hell knows? I mean, there are some people that speculate that they want Islam to take over Europe. I'm not entirely sure about that, but they're certainly using these jihadis to drive through this communist agenda that takes away everyone's rights all throughout the European Union and even here in the United States. Although I do think here in the U.S. we definitely stand for it a little bit less. So you see it in real time, people. Like I said, I'm not a genius. I'm not a psychic. I just pay attention. And once you pay attention for a little bit, you notice the formula. They run the same plays over and over and over again. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You're going to see it. Keep paying attention. It's going to keep coming out. It always happens. The next time there's a terror attack, just look. Just pay attention. Someone
The deep state does not exist. Bleep. Deep state, originally used to refer to sophisticated shadow governments in countries like Turkey and post-Soviet Russia, has also been used in American political science to refer to entrenched government institutions wielding power, without necessarily implying a conspiracy. So Wiki is trying to change the meaning of the words deep state into a conspiracy theory. And the other main idea they may try to push is all conspiracy theories are wrong and pretend that conspiracy theorists are potential terrorists instead of the Jesuits and Masons depopulating Earth with their cancer chemtrails and pandemics caused by killer vaccines and shit. They have continuity of government, not continuity of society, though the latter rhymes. Theory, all violence is wrong. How does that rhyme with the state's monopoly on violence? Basically what the state is saying is that they themselves may use violence but you all may not. And the state is made of people just like the people exposing the state. You do not understand what they are saying unless the people that control the synthetic telepathy machine let you understand what they are saying. All people without a Tesla plasma shield are targeted individuals. Disallow or disapprove of instead of condemn. And the press history to them, absolutely unfairly. Donald Trump quote, add a context. The main thing. 1. Destroy all doomsday devices, dismantle all nuclear weapons. Destroy the brain control machine or reprogram it. If destroying it fails you are. 2. Replace the nefarious people that are abusing the doomsday device, scalar torture or brain control machine with competent ones that will protect and serve instead of exterminate and torture the innocent civilians. 3. Reprogram the people and neural network in control of the synthetic telepathy machine, doomsday device and/or directed energy torture weapons. Use hypnosis or make a plan. Create cure against aging and perfect society. Safety first. Controlled opposition. We have to expose these nasty criminals that want to keep us from depopulating the earth. I think they are programmed to see me as an enemy or are too dumbed down to realize the importance of what I'm saying, and that is the reason they are all going away. Another item I bought on eBay is not showing up in my eBay summary. Arrest all Freemasons and committee of 300 members and stop the illegal depopulation. Coggoon levels. Following a catastrophic national emergency, the president, or his successor can authorize the establishment of a temporary shadow government to maintain control of the essential functions of the federal government. President Bush activated the shadow government on September 11, 2001, shortly after the second attack on the World Trade Center. Whitehouse.gov1.info. This proves beyond any reasonable doubt that a shadow government exists. The Defense Readiness Condition, DEFCON, is an alert state used by the United States Armed Forces. 1. The DEFCON system, 5 graduated levels of readiness, or states of alert, for the U.S. military. It increases in severity from DEFCON 5, least severe, to DEFCON 1, most severe, to match varying military situations. Readiness condition exercise term description Readiness DEFCON 1 cocked pistol nuclear war is imminent maximum readiness DEFCON 5 fade out lowest state of readiness normal readiness, wiki, DEFCON. A coup d'état is the illegal and overt seizure of a state by the military or other elites within the state apparatus, either a bloody coup or bloodless coup, APITI.
Always knows, and they always let it happen. Alright? So, that's all I got for you guys today, but I do want to hear some more comments from you. I've heard some great comments over this past week. It's been tough for me to respond to everybody, but I'm curious to know what you guys think of Jason Kessler. Happens. The next time there's a terror attack, just look, just pay attention. Someone always knows, and they always let it happen. Alright? So, that's all I got for you guys today, but I do want to hear some more comments from you. I've heard some... What's up, everybody? Jefferson Lee here, the man from the Deep South. I did a video the other day talking about Charlottesville and how it was probably a false flag insofar as that it was allowed to happen and that it was given more than adequate media coverage in comparison to the left-wing violence that we've seen plaguing the country over the past 2 years. I wanted to analyze the press coverage after this event and give you guys an idea of what's going on in real time so you can kind of break this down and maybe explain it to your friends and get the message out. So after Charlottesville, we see this media explosion, okay, designed to, in my opinion, push the conversation forward in a direction that suits the left's narrative, okay, while putting President Donald Trump in some type of box that he's kind of stuck in, that he can't get out of, where he has to constantly disavow, 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 instead of publicizing his agenda as it moves forward. This is kind of...
So I see he's wearing a t-shirt that says most likely to secede. And do you know what secession means? Seceding?
Yes, leaving a grouping that you had belonged to, like Great Britain leaving the European Union as an act of secession.
So basically it would be a sexit. Sexit, states leaving, states exiting. I think so. So it's exit, Brexit or Nexit. Okay, thanks.
How the information war works, at least as I see it, okay? But I want to show you guys how this has been manipulated. So, for anyone who doesn't know this, the person whose video of the crash went viral is a gentleman by the name of Brennan Gilmore. Brennan Gilmore is not what you think he is. Brennan Gilmore, turns out, is a former State Department employee, okay, who was actually the chief of staff for a former gubernatorial candidate in Virginia by the name of Tom Perillo. Tom Perillo received $380,000 from George Soros to run against Governor McAuliffe this past January. All right? So what you're trying to tell me here is that a former State Department employee, who, by the way, ran the whole Coney 2012 bullshit propaganda that happened about 5 years ago, and you can look that up, it's true, okay, happened to be in the right place at the right time. His tweet of the car crashing through that crowd goes viral. Remember what I said about Twitter? They let things trend if it fits the agenda of the left. This is a normal thing for Twitter and Facebook as well, okay? So suddenly this guy is on MSNBC and he's calling it, this is terrorism, this is terrorism, this is terrorism.
So basically, it looks like The Robert Lee guy is a Rasta, but in reality it's not. This is not hair.
And while I would agree that someone driving a car through a crowd of people is certainly an act of terrorism, okay, the left is not calling Muslims driving cars into crowds of people terrorism at all. They're not even naming it that way. They're not even bringing up left-wing terror, okay? So in my opinion, Brennan Gilmore was brought on here strictly, he was on site because he knew something was going to happen. He himself might have been an agent provocateur. I don't know. I'm not willing to say that's definitely true, but it's certainly a possibility. He happens to be there, State Department employee, happens to be there when the car crashes, and he's the first person interviewed about it on MSNBC. Now, I don't believe in coincidences, people. I'm sorry to say. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And that's a fact. Okay? Now, I want to kind of move on into the press coverage after the fact to show you how they try to keep the president in a box to control the narrative going forward. So, of course, right after the whole Charlottesville incident occurs, Donald Trump tweets that it's a disaster, that violence is wrong on both sides, and what does the press say? It's not enough. It's not enough.
Then what about a smoke machine? I don't know the principle of a smoke machine, but perhaps a smoke machine doesn't have any fire. So where there's smoke, that's for sure. Unless it's an illusion.
How is he being so silent during this awful time? It's not enough, it's not enough. He must disavow, 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 disavow. This crazy rhetoric that we see all the time, even though the guy's been disavowing David Duke for the better part of 2 years, okay? So the president makes a speech focusing just on right-wing terror, okay? What happens? The press comes out and says it's still not enough. The only way that the press will ever get off Donald Trump's back, the mainstream media, the fake news media, is to completely crush free speech in this country and to condemn his supporters as terrorists, as racist, as misogynist, as homophobes. Now, of course, Trump is not going to do that because he doesn't believe that. And if you don't believe me when I say this, understand that the only time that Trump has really ever gotten any actual recognition from the media for doing a good job was when he bombed Syria, when we launched those Tomahawk missiles at Syria. I didn't support that at all. Most Trump supporters didn't support it, at least as I see it, okay? But what happened? The left, whose whole goal the whole time has been to destabilize Syria, comes out and compliments Trump for doing this thing, which not coincidentally was against what he ran on. He ran on a non-interventionist foreign policy. So the left is only going to give Donald Trump compliments when he does things that suit their agenda. It's real simple, okay? So we can see in the aftermath, State Department employee happens to be there, films the whole thing. His video is the one that goes viral, along with his own personal narrative of what happened there, okay? The guy is connected to the Democratic Party. He's connected to propaganda videos in the past that were completely untrue. Now we can see the mainstream media narrative being driven after the fact, okay? Trying to force Trump into a box so that he has to spend a whole week addressing something that's totally ridiculous. Obviously, everyone with morals disavows murder. They disavow slavery. They disavow racism. The guy spent the past 2 years disavowing it. What difference does it make if he does it now? He's already been doing it. He's already been doing it, okay? So this is just a little sample into how the media manipulates the narrative and how they use these events to get the reaction they want. And one more thing, I want you guys to pay very close attention to what's going on with these Google protests over the next week. So of course, there's going to be these free speech protests at various Google offices regarding the firing of James Damore, who published that whole memo, the quote-unquote anti-diversity memo at Google. Now, you're going to see they're going to try to paint all of these protests as KKK, white supremacist protests. There's going to be agent provocateurs amongst the protesters who are going to start shit with the Antifa groups who are also there. These agent provocateurs are going to become more and more of a problem because the right-wingers, and I say that term with the condescending air quotes, the right-wingers are actually nonviolent. They're not being violent enough to push the media's agenda forward. So now we're going to see more of this focus on who I believe is a CIA operative, Richard Spencer, more of a focus on the KKK alt-right in these groups, and almost all of them are going to be deep state plants. You watch. So as a prediction, I want you guys to pay attention to these Google protests and understand when you see violence, ask questions. Who's starting it? Almost certainly there's going to be agent provocateurs there. That's what they do. All right, so that's all I got for you guys today. If you like what you see here, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @JeffersonLeeTV. That's @JeffersonLeeTV. And I also do a podcast with a friend of mine. It's called the Broken Hour Podcast. I'll link to that in the description. It's a weekly analysis of politics and news and just the global spectrum at large. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll be talking to you soon. You have a great day.
So, thanks to Jefferson Lee for letting us know. Great video. Interesting stuff. Police provocateurs. I've covered this in my previous broadcast. So as Alex Jones controlled opposition. The shills, the gatekeepers. And I've covered controlled opposition in a separate broadcast because that stuff's important to form real resistance to the people that want to and are depopulating you all. So for now that's the end of this broadcast, but I'll be back soon. So stay tuned, subscribe, like, and make love, have sex, massage each other, and do healing things for universal peace.